So there's a really big update today in Mabinogi, or Mabi as we call it. And so here's about 5 things that actually matter when you log in after the maintenance, which should be over by 10 a.m. Pacific time. And I will be putting those other times for other time zones because of inclusivity. Okay, so the first update is the Arcana Martial Hearts. I really love that name. Whoever came up with that name deserves a raise. Please. So the first one is Melodic Puppeteer. So it's puppetry plus bard mashed together for a range type of damage arcana. And then you have Blazing Brawler, which is fighter plus warrior mashed together for a melee type of talent. So technically, just remember you do need Grandmaster and both of those respective talents before the game hands you an Arcana. I like to believe that most of you have already hit Grandmaster ages ago. And there's also, just so you know, big tip, there is a separate event running right now called the Flying High. And that's handing out an item called the Codex of Ascendant Arcana, which straight up grants you the Grandmaster seals for both of those feeder talents, and it'll go ahead and unlock the Arcana, I believe, at max rank. And if it doesn't, that's all right, because with the currency you get from the Flying High event, you'll also be able to purchase crests, which typically cost a lot of gold in the millions to go from rank 1 all the way to rank 10 of your Arcana, which is actually called Arcana Link. So from link 1 to link 10, it costs millions and millions and millions of gold. So fortunately, they're actually helping us out in that respect, because if you know anything about Mabi, is that gold is extremely precious, especially nowadays where our weeklies are capped. Number 2, the mileage system. I am not going to go in too deep about this because I personally, money, my wallet, money.
You look poor. You look broke ass.
So I'm trying to focus on things that actually progress me. This whole mileage system is really cool though, because it's like a loyalty program. So think of it like your coffee shop switching over to a punch card app. It's pretty cool because you get free drinks eventually, except every latte you bought before the switch doesn't really count. So the same deal kind of goes here. Anything you bought before today's maintenance is not retroactive. So the clock basically started at 0 this morning, or whatever time zone you are right after the update. The 2 older boxes that are currently out, like the Nova Ocean box and the Bad Hubba Cath's Might Doll bag box, will earn you mileage just for opening them going forward, but whatever you actually pull out of them doesn't qualify for the exchange trade-in. So it's mileage on the box, not the loot. So make sure you read that twice before you decide to spend NX on those 2 specifically, because they will also be releasing different types of gachas soon. So now we're going to go over the third one. This is my personal favorite. They decided to make a season 2 of Over the Rainbow event. The reason why I really enjoy this event is because some folks can either get extremely lucky or extremely unlucky, which is like the super big thing about this game. There's just a lot of RNG, but it makes it fun because typically you'll be running dungeons anyway. And so what this dungeon does is that, what this event really does is that it basically spawns a leprechaun right before you finish a dungeon. And that leprechaun will, I believe, die in about 5 to 10 hits. And it drops things while it's hit. And then there's another separate drop table for that last hit that kills it. Now, for the drop table, for the items that you could obtain when you actually end up killing the leprechaun, is actually a lot more valuable. So I'll be going over the items that you really can't skip on and that you really need to keep that will progress your account a lot, just depending on where you're at. So there is an ERG system, ERG, which is basically a system that is able to infuse different abilities into your weapon. And so what you need to pay attention to is that there are 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of tiers of leprechauns. So it's basically every single tier drops that type of item. However, the last tier, which is the Dapper Dandy Giant Leprechaun, drops the Erg level increase scroll, the Erg unlock scroll, and the rank S level 45 Erg infusion catalyst, which will add S level 45 Erg into any weapon of your choosing. The reason why this is really big is because all of the preceding leprechauns can infuse Arcana. Sorry, not Arcana. That'd be dope though. They can actually infuse this Erg into different ranks. So ranging all the way from A level 45 all the way to rank S level 45, depending on which grade you end up attaining. And this is going to save you hundreds of millions of gold if you are able to obtain one of the rare ones. So another tip I can give you is go ahead and buy some of the Elite Shadow Mission passes. My understanding is that the leprechauns won't drop from the hard mode or anything below Elite. But if you have Elite passes, go ahead and stock up on them, and you might want to do a conflict spam. There's a shadow mission in, I believe it's Tiltian, that is called Conflict Unexpected something. And that one is really fairly easy to complete in a very relative short amount of time. And you could do, honestly, at least 100 until September, because this event ends in September 10th. So July 16th to September 10th. So I highly encourage you to do Crom, Glenn, Bree, and a shoot ton of those Elite Shadow missions. Next, we're going to have the Black Combo Card event. This is, I want to say it's probably like about, definitely not the second time. It's returned about maybe 4 or 5 times, and it's really good, especially for those of you who want to keep on getting combo cards for different type of Arcana that you might be using. Like if there's talent skills that you might use. For example, I usually play as a Dark Diviner, and so I spam the Thunder skill. So that little DPS boost helps me out a lot. Additionally, you might find that using other talent skills and other Arcana could also be beneficial. For example, Magnum Shot for Alchemic Sharpshooters. So take a look at that if you haven't built your combo cards up. This is a really good opportunity. Last but not least, my friends, there are 2 new gacha boxes. So these 2 gacha boxes are going to hit the shop through August 13th. They are respectively the Papillon Waltz box, which is giving like a gothic masquerade energy with parasols and puppets and lace. It's really cute, especially, you know, paired with the Melodic Puppeteer release. And then the second one is the Designer's Memories box, which is a straight up greatest hits reissue, pretty much like an old fan favorite set of all these type of clothes. For example, there's one called the Royal Mage and the Battle Butler and Maid outfits that are pretty much back in rotation. And there's also a rare pull for a glowing white robe-like outfit, which is really, really cute. And also there is a companion whistle that you could also pull for a special cosmetic version of the Quinn Anwin pet, which is like this big giant dog, in my opinion, that wears armor. And so the main thing that I want you to take away from all of these things is make sure that you basically use your time to the best of your ability. One of the things that we know now is that they're going to remove Nier eventually. And so if you've been hoarding up your Nier, I would say this is a really good opportunity for you to keep getting leprechauns, especially if you haven't finished the Erg system on your weapons. If you finished Erg, one of the things that you should look into, I recommend seeing if maybe you can transfer the Erg. I know I did. I obtained during the last Over the Rainbow event, I obtained a S45 Erg Perseus bow, which I was very upset because I don't do ranged like at all, which I was able to transfer. It cost a lot of money back in the day, but I paid for a transference catalyst, which is an item you can get, and I highly recommend buying it now because it's cheaper. But you can just transfer the Erg onto another bow and then upgrade it all the way to 50, which is what I did because it was already unlocked, which is just amazing. Saved me hundreds of millions of gold, and now that's like a backup Arcana that I use. So yeah, that's your July 16th patch. A couple things: a new loyalty program for you gacha spenders, And don't forget to sleep on the Flying High event, which is still live through September. You get free repairs and straight up progression boosts that you can choose up to, I believe, 6 to 8 different types of boosts. So none of it stops working just because the new patch drops. So make sure that you really do maximize all of those benefits, especially considering that they are going to raise the maximum Arcana level. So you might want to rebirth over and over again to max out that level. Typically, you end up getting higher stat limits, which just generally makes you stronger. So have a wonderful day. And to be honest, that was the first YouTube video that I've ever uploaded. So if you want to run dungeons or build community in game, I'll drop my IGN below. I hope you have a great day again, and I hope to see you in the next one. I would love to know also, what are some topics that you like to hear about Mabi? Do you like to kind of deep dive into the lore, or do you like the breaking down of mechanics? I'm really curious, and let me know what you think, and I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe. Have a great day for the third time, everybody. Third time's a charm. All right. Later. Peace.